Bearcat Bounce Podcast back at it again. Yet again, as they say, Monday nights. The best time of the dogs are barking. People are ready. Every Monday night we say it. Welcome into the BBP. Welcome into the recap of the beautiful 63-10 victory and much, much more. Yet again, Monday night. Yet again, Bearcat Talk. Yet again, it's time to bring in my two guys, sidekicks, guys that have been there since the beginning, since we were wee young little lads. And I tell you what, I went back and I re-listened to the first episode randomly, and it was actually phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Yes, it was.
I can't believe that.
Yes, it was. Go back and listen. I'm not even lying to you. But one thing that wasn't phenomenal about that was that we were not yet introduced to Mr. Danco Joe and Danco Transmission and Auto Care. So, Danco Joe, it's great seeing you on Saturday. But without further ado, it's time to bring in Mr. Aaron Smith, Mr. Chad Brendel, Aaron Chad Gents. How are we?
The baby's still alive. I made it through day one as stay-at-home dad. Wow. So we did it. We did it.
Whoa.
I'm happy.
Good job.
I am so proud of you.
We had a meeting today with a potential partnership that we're working on, and Aaron just put the baby in the bassinet right next to him, and you can see him every 3 seconds. He was like,
"Hope you're all right. Hope you're all right. Hope you're all right."
Still breathing.
He went out of the room for a second, and the puppy walked to the door and kept looking between the baby and the door, like, "You can't. Hello, you can't leave the room." It was pretty funny. I lived it for 5 years. I did the stay-home dad thing all the way until she was in preschool. So I've been there with you, brother.
Just happy we made it. Day one in the books.
It's only day one. You got a couple thousand more to go.
I mean, 11 hours, though. Whew.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You
want me to give you the best parental advice I can ever give anyone in that situation?
I'm terrified.
When they sleep, you sleep.
That's what I hear, but...
Look, if you're not going to sleep when they're asleep, you're not going to sleep. So we had nap time every day. She used to watch Finding Nemo on the couch every day.
Good movie.
And it would be like that. You up?
Oh my God.
You're asleep? All right. You'll wake me up when you get up, I hope. You learn to sleep very light too.
Aaron, I don't think you're quite at the movie watching stage yet, right? You can probably.
I watch plenty of HBO Max, Netflix.
Yeah, you can throw on anything you want.
You're not in the cartoon phase yet.
No.
This right here is Wolf of Wall Street. We'll teach you about it in a few years. But enjoy it.
Perfect.
Golly. Well, Chad, sounds like you're doing all right yourself. How are we?
I'm terrible, but
okay.
I've been trying to fight this cold off for days, and I'm not winning.
Well, we're getting flu game Chad tonight, guys. I'm excited.
You're getting probably like this Chad most of the night.
Flu game Chad tonight.
Not that that's any different than normal.
Get the record books out. But hey, you know what? Every Monday throughout the season this year, we get the pride of Hilliard Davidson High School. The man, the myth, the legend, the guy who hopped on the Bearcats and rode them all the way to the college football playoffs. That's right. On his back, Ryan Royer. Mr. Royer, welcome back. How are we?
Doing great. I don't know about carrying the Bearcats, but I appreciate that one.
Yeah, well, we like to pump each other up on this.
There we go. We need it. We need it nowadays.
We definitely do. With the cutoff hoodie as well, it's a good look. Good shout out there to you. But aside from that, it is time there we go. Time to rep Danco Transmission yet again. Aaron and I were able to swing by Danco Joe's tailgate. It was in a good location there on the grid. And I tell you what, Aaron, he's got a doppelganger on his hands right there.
Yeah,
in his tailgate.
His brother looks just like him, and you can definitely find his tent, as it's the only one that is just completely Danco Joe'd out. I mean, you just see Danco Transmissions all over his tent. It's fantastic.
Swing by there, give him a shout out, head in, Danco transmission. Get yourself a little bit off, a big oil change, a big. You know, I was looking at my cars here and like a rattle. You know, when I was driving around past couple days, I looked down underneath my car. They got something hanging from it. Might have to go swing by Danco transmission this weekend before the Miami game. See what's going on if that's at all possible. But until then, we got to rehash what was a win number one of many to come this season. It was a 63-10 victory over Kennesaw State. The Owls. Chad, who? The Owls. That's right.
Who?
The Owls. You know what? First off, I gotta ask, Aaron, when it's FCS week, what is the approach as if you guys are playing, you know, Houston in the AAC championship game, or what kind of is the vibe around the team? Is it the same thing? We're gonna pump up this FCS opponent as much as possible and make sure the boys are ready. Because if I remember last season, this was something I mentioned. It was 7-7 against the Murray State Racers, and heading into halftime of that game, and feelings were interesting. The second half obviously was a demolition, but what is game week like leading up to a team that you obviously are more talented than top to bottom?
Was that to me or to Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, did I say Aaron? I meant Ryan.
You said Aaron. And then,
well, Aaron. Well, then what is
Aaron's
it?
like, I don't know.
Aaron, let's hear it.
Nah,
Come on, Aaron.
I meant Ryan. Go ahead, Ryan.
I've been in the locker room this many times.
There we go.
Here we go.
We like to treat our opponents the same every week. You know, even though they're not an FBS school, we still prepare the same. We treat them the same. I mean, they're the Division I college football players, so they're all good. They got good coaches. Every team's gonna have a good scheme. So we're not looking down on anyone. We're just looking to play our game, and that's exactly what we did, especially with the triple option. That's another added bonus into the mix there, even make it a little more adversity. So, yeah, we treat everyone the same. And I thought the Bearcats came right to play like they were playing any other AAC opponent. They put a little beat down on the Owls, so I was happy to see that.
You were on the sidelines, though. I saw you there. And what was the vibe like on the sidelines with the players? Like, do you feel like they were pretty loose? I don't know at what point you got down there, but
yeah, they seemed pretty loose. So I got there right before they ran out onto the field the final time. So I didn't get to catch much of warm-ups. Got a little caught up in a little tailgate. So I didn't make it over to Danco's. We were gonna make it over there. Oh wait, we gotta go get the tickets, and you know, had a couple beers. You're not thinking too well about time, man. The team seemed loose. They were ready to play, and throughout the game, like I'd be a couple feet away. You can hear guys talking, cool, calm, collected. Love what I saw. Vibes on the sideline were great as always. So, not surprised by that.
Well, speaking of tickets, because obviously I don't know if you want the ticket route of having it on your phone through the app or whatever it was that crashed before the game, because us three were already in there. Were the lines crazy? Was it pretty hectic trying to get in to the stadium, or did they kind of handle the adversity through all phases of the program on Saturday?
There were some long lines, but I got to be honest with you. I saw a gap in the fence, just walked right in. I don't know if it was an entrance, but avoided a line there. So don't tell anyone that one. A little sneaky into there, but just so I could avoid the lines. But let's see, went to the it wasn't bad because I got my tickets from one of the guys on the team. So, okay. I mean, the lines weren't bad there. You know, you get that little special treatment when you go the player ticket route. So I didn't have the common man way of going about it.
Just thought it was once you were Mr. Bearcat, you could just kind of do what you please.
Oh yeah, they normally carry you in in a chariot, right to midfield.
Right. Yeah, like a prize fighter. I completely agree. But you know, so another thing was obviously the team seemed warmed up, seemed ready to rock, ready to roll. But the opening kickoff, and I know Chad and Aaron already spoke on this. There were some rumblings on this here podcast that there's gonna be a bit of a change to the pump it up music that was gonna be the opening kickoff song and the kickoff song, if you will. Then all of a sudden, to somewhat of a surprise, and then to much of the joy of the fans, yet again it was pump it up. Tell me what pump it up means to you, and just kind of the team as a whole. Is it something that they really rally around, or is it just anything with a good beat that's loud will get you guys all ready?
Well, yeah, anything with a good beat will get us going. We listen to a lot of music. Thanks to good old Brady Collins. I love Pump It Up. I think it's great. Obviously, it resonates super well with the fan base, and it's kind of like it's UC's thing, it's our claim to fame. And I mean, I'd always hold a special place in my heart being around Kyle Bolden when he brought it out and kind of brought it to the team. So I love it. I mean, I can understand why they might want to go, hey, let's have a new year, new team. Let's get a new song going. But I almost feel like they should kind of keep it around for a little bit longer, because I think it's kind of grown into something more than just like a team, like how it started in the weight room with our team. It kind of grew into like a community thing. I think a lot of people in Bearcat Nation love it. So my advice is stick to Pump It Up, keep it going for kickoff. I think it's great. I think it's going to be something that people can really rally around and get excited for. So, and all ages too. I mean, not just the students, everyone loves it. So I think they should
What'd you think of the fourth quarter song?
I was mad about that. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I love Shout. I thought that was the cool, that is some of the coolest moments. When you guys might hate it, but I loved it. I thought the fans.
You didn't like Travis Kelce starting out? You got to fight for your right?
Oh, yeah, that's sick. It's sick, but I don't really, Shout's way more interactive, you feel like. It's got the cool little dance everyone likes to do, especially when you've got a big team, a big opponent, and you're up. We were very blessed to have the opportunity. I mean, everyone really gets into it and stuff. I don't know if you can really get into that fight for the right to party as much, but I mean, I love Travis. Obviously, I love Travis, and it's sick that he did that. It's a good connection. But I'm Team Shout. Sorry, guys.
I just love the way they presented it, as they started out with playing Shout, and then they did the Technicolor,
the trumpets.
Timmy trumpets.
Yeah, they brought out Timmy trumpets for a second, and then they switched to Travis there, and I thought it was.
Thank God they didn't do the trumpets. The Mets ruined that pretty quickly. That was something so cool. Leave it to the Mets, man.
Oh, it's so cool. It is so cool. But no, I actually agree though. The Shout is interactive, but once it's game 3, the crowd is an extension of the team, if you will. So maybe game 1 a little rusty. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the fans might have been the 1Bs, if you will, at least drunk wise and having the engagement wise. But like you said, when it's a fired up game, heading into the fourth quarter, people are going to sing that as loud as possibly can be, and possibly louder than some Beastie Boy concerts, which is what I was saying. So I think it's got potential. Now, I think the ability to sing back will be big.
If we're going to do a Kelce Brothers song, though, there was nothing better than Jason after the Super Bowl doing "We're the Eagles, the fucking Eagles. No one likes us, we don't care."
I forgot about that one.
I wonder how that one. Walking down the street, chugging beers and singing songs for the fans in the parade route. He didn't ride the float.
Yeah,
he walked the entire parade route. Probably drank 30 beers.
Oh yeah,
and was just making up songs on the fly as he was walking down the street.
Hey, he's the best. That's a fellow Sigma brother right there. We like to drink our beer. So shout out to all that beer drinking. I know a couple things about that from the Sigma guys.
Yeah.
So
you're not getting much of my face tonight. I feel like shit, man. Come on.
Did you make it around the stadium to see the new wall decals that they had to honor Dez and Sauce and Kobe and some of the other teams that came.
2017 UCF.
That one wasn't up there.
Oh,
They're
I think
making
they should
it.
put it. I think they should put it up there just as
I think
a thank you.
I think DeFino's on that, as well as getting the "Where the Bearcats Step" and Bearcat song in there as well. So I think it's coming. But yeah,
But did you get a chance to see that, Ryan?
I did not. I saw it on Twitter. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a great idea. I think promoting that is great. I think it's some, for recruiting and kind of just be something to be really proud of. I think it's awesome. I got to see. I like that new tunnel, how they enclosed it. I think it's cool. It makes it cooler for the players. I got to go in the new locker room. That place is awesome. Got to pay a little visit in there, check that out. I saw pictures of it. It doesn't do it justice. That like the walkout from the locker room to the new tunnel is just it's so cool. I wish I'm sure it's even better, and it's ready to run out there, because even our old locker room, they made it look cool, and that place was a piece of shit. So, but we loved it though. But yeah,
having the hype room right there, right before you bust out to go down to the field.
Oh yeah, that just tight, close quarters. Just the boys just getting after it, screaming, hollering, jumping around.
Former walk-on Zach Tobler says pictures definitely don't do it justice, as he was one of the construction
project
engineers.
manager.
Right.
Just the project manager.
Okay.
Just you did a great job. Great job. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Well, before we move on, talk about the old locker room real quick. What's your favorite memory that you can at least
my goodness
talk on here from the old locker room, and then we'll put that one to bed and move on to the game.
I think I should just keep it to the post-game celebrations, because we could go down a deep R-rated rabbit hole when it comes to post-practice. I don't know if we want to go down that one.
We can do that all.
Involves little pieces of clothing. May or may not be me, but
Interesting.
My favorite was we got into this habit of we just get water bottles and just like smash them together, just throw water all over each other, all over the whole locker room. And if you remember, there's not like a true ceiling. It was like a graded ceiling, and like the water would just splash up into the lights and the circuitry. And we would like fuses would be getting blown, and like sparks would be flying like in the middle of Coach Vick's like post-game speeches, and like sparks would be flying down on us. And like one time he's like sparks just come raining down on a bunch of guys, and he's like, "It doesn't fucking matter. We're getting a new fucking locker room." But this is like this is 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and like we're like, all right, yeah. And then a year goes by, another year goes by, no locker room. But it was probably I just love the sparks flying down and breaking tables, Joey Graber, all that stuff. I could go on forever about it, but that was one of them.
Here's a funny one for you, Ryan. I talked to Do last week after practice, O'Quinn.
Oh yeah.
And since fatherhood, like he's calm and collected and mellow and mature and rational now. And our new director of social media, Reagan Yoakum, was like, I love that interview. Like, that is such a level-headed, reasonable, mature guy. And I was like, yeah, you should have seen him before the kid, when in the postgame, he was the one losing his mind more than anybody.
Oh my God. Oh, I got to see the full like progression of Dylan O'Quinn. Freshman year Dylan O'Quinn that like had to gain a bunch of weight to play. Oh, we used to go, him and Woody, they would just eat so much damn food, and we would just drink so much beer. just like, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but the way he was, and like seeing him like to knowing have a kid, like, oh, I got to get my act together. I got to raise this child. I can't be this big of a jackass and making that big of a scene for them. So I think he's great now. I loved him when he was crazy too. So happy for him.
We used to have people all the time that like especially his freshman year, like redshirt freshman year, they would post the post-game locker room celebration, and he was always the craziest person. And they're like, who is that guy?
Well,
he loved
second craziest.
No, I think O'Quinn had Royer beat in some of those locker room celebrations.
Yeah,
man.
O'Quinn is crazy because he adds another level to it because he's just so damn big.
Big,
and he could
strong,
just do a
right?
lot more. Yeah, he could do a lot more things than me. And he just stands out like a sore thumb when you see a big guy like that doing crazy shit. So.
And now you interview him, and he's very polite and very, very calm and measured and even keel. Like, what happened to you, O'Quinn?
Well, here he is.
We need the old guy back.
Right.
I think he'll show glimpses, though. He has to. I've got a lot of friends that are dads. I mean, heck, Aaron was freshly a dad, and he was getting a little crazy the one time I saw him here in Indianapolis. So it all evens out, right, Aaron?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just one time.
Just the one time I saw him.
Hey, you can't take it out of you, man.
No,
it's
always there. It's always there. But anyway, let's get back to the game though, real fast. Obviously you want to continue the momentum from the second half of the Arkansas game offensively, where things were starting to click. A sack on the first play of the offense. It was kind of a little bit of a game stopper, if you will, at the time. But Luke talked about the ability to then pick up two big gainers to kind of just get enough yardage, enough space to then set up a career-long punt by Mason Fletcher. And I want to talk about Mason a little bit because obviously it's just he's just got a weird side to him where it's that rugby kick, that Australian football type kick. But man, he got one that hit, didn't bounce out of bounds, but hit and rolled all the way. And how big is the special teams aspect? Because you look at a couple of drives, the next drive, it's yet again a blocked field goal that stops their first try to get some points as well. Just how important special teams, that three phases of the game. You got to think that two big plays like that are something that Luke Fickell loves to see. Yeah,
we treat punt as the most important. Like Coach Fickell, he's an ex-Tressel guy, and I don't know if you guys used to remember Jim Tressel. He would probably punt over scoring a touchdown back in the day. So I think Coach Fick's got a little bit of that drilled into his head. But Coach Fick always says punt's the most important play in football. And it is because, I mean, if you get a bad punt or if you get a punt blocked, like that is huge momentum. I mean, like if you look at the statistics of like punt block, like it's a crazy percentage you end up losing the game. But yeah, and don't sleep on Fletch. He can traditional boot that ball. Like not just, I mean, he could sit back there and just sky hell of a hang time, just super good distance. But I mean, rugby works well with our scheme, and so he does it. Obviously, he's natural at it. But yeah, that was a great punt. And obviously, then the blocked field goal, it's huge. I mean, we've been doing that so much lately. Last year, we did that a bunch, and it's just guys reiterating like, don't take a play off. And I love that. Love seeing that because that's our starting defense. Sometimes you say, oh, like, we might not see you might not expect your guys to be like going like that crazy balls to the wall, but they take pride in like wanting to block it and wanting to make a play and wanting to give effort every snap. And I think that's just a great example of where like the culture of this team, we don't take a snap off, and that plays like that, effort like that, that's really gonna come back and help us out in big time moments.
Well, it's not even a guy coming like off the bench just playing special teams. It was Deshaun Pace with the field goal block. So I mean, that's a guy who's a starter. He very well could be taking a playoff, but because of the culture that Luke has built, it's not the case.
Oh yeah, because if he did take that playoff, he's going to get his ass ripped. He won't. He will. He will. But yeah, special teams is so big, and guys you got guys like me who would literally kill just for like 10 snaps a game on units, and then you got your starters that like telling Coach Fick, put me on all three, and Coach Fick and the staff's like, no, you can only be on this one and this one. So special teams is a huge deal in our program because it means so much to football. And I don't just say that because that was my only role on the team. That's no bias there, But
No, I can back that up. Like I heard Jerome Ford used to battle with the staff that like don't take me off teams.
yeah,
that
like Ahmad and Kobe, yeah, they're like put me on kickoff, and like I paid off. He was making a lot of plays on Sunday for the Brownies. I think he made 2 plays on special teams. I know he had a big hit on kickoff. Yeah, it just shows it matters.
From what I heard, like his belief was like, look, like I've made my way, like I've earned everybody's trust here because I went out on teams and proved, I could do it. And I don't want that taken away. Like I want to keep going out there and doing everything I can as many ways as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think
which a guy coming from Alabama, like there was another guy that came from Alabama that had the exact opposite mentality a couple years ago, right? Like,
yep,
I'm here. Yep. I'm from Alabama. I deserve to be starting over James Wiggins and Derek Forrest. Can we calm down for a minute?
He was a good player, but
he was a good player,
obviously.
But there was a belief from day one, like I'm better than everybody here, and it was like I don't think you realize who's here.
Yep, and you see what happened with Jerome, and you see what happened with him. Yeah,
Jerome came in and owned it.
Different paths.
Owned his spot on special teams, earned the respect of the program, and now he's killing it for the Browns.
Yeah, he had a 29-yard kickoff return.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like you guys said, at a tackle as well. So yeah, I mean, making his presence known. I think Wiley as well is a guy who's mentioned he loves special teams. Obviously, likes to get hands on some block punts. I think you guys led the nation in block kicks last year, or at least that's what they said on the telecast whenever you watched the game.
Then we had the God Ethan Tuckey back in the day, the pump. Pump block God. Got to shout the boy out there.
Yeah, I call him the Dikembe Mutombo. The Dikembe Mutombo of the Bearcats.
He'd go like this every time he blocked it. Oh, he was so funny. I love that guy.
Nah, he was good. But obviously, special teams aside, the offense was able to get a little spark. That's when we'll kind of wrap up Ben's full day in a nutshell, because he was extremely efficient on the afternoon. Pardon me. Only, I believe, 3 incompletions. All 3 came in the first half. 17-20, 201, 3 touchdowns. Really spread the ball around. He's got obviously the two tight ends and Wiley and Lenny that are really just going to be dominant the whole rest of the year. And then, of course, Tyler Scott. Last week you mentioned Tyler Scott being a freak. You look out on the field in the NFL, and you see so many different players that are kind of like Tyler Scott's build at the wide receiver position that are just fast and can catch the ball, can get open. I mean, you got to think the way that Tyler Scott's putting everything together, he's got a shot to just continue his upward trajectory, because when you get the ball to him, he's not going to be tackled by the first guy. It'll probably take the third or the fourth guy to get to him, and by then he might be in the end zone already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've seen a lot like last year. Like if you get him the ball in space, he's going to make guys miss. I think a lot of people talk about his straight line speed, his getaway speed on the deep ball. But I mean, I can remember multiple times us getting him on a little deep out, and if he can get past that, he could break that first tackle off the corner. I mean, he's going to make that safety miss, and he's going to get in the end zone. You saw he absolutely destroyed that poor guy's ankles on that out route for the touchdown, and just finds his way right into the end zone. I mean, I think he gets slept on with that his cutting ability, his field vision when he has the ball. And I mean, that's only going to make his stock keep rising. And I think, we got to keep finding ways to get him the ball in open space. I think we've used Trey Tucker a lot for that, on those like jet motion, jet sweep plays. And because Trey's just such a big playmaker, but I would love to see them get Tyler involved with that too. I mean, he's showing he could break those tackles, make those plays.
Yeah, I've been kind of surprised thus far through the season how little I feel like they've used Trey to this point. Maybe more so last week than this week, because you really didn't even need to this week. But just a little surprised by that, I guess.
I agree. And I never, there's a lot that goes into it, schemes, matchups, what the defense running. and how Trey can fit into that, what his strengths are. And I never played offense, so I never knew who they were scheming up, who they were trying to get after on the opponents. But I mean, obviously there's a reason to everything they do. You know, they're not gonna be doing anything stupid, especially with the staff we got going. So I'm sure everything. Yeah, I'm sure there's a reason. I'm not going to speak on something I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised they start getting the ball more here in the coming weeks too.
The running backs are kind of spread out. We'll kind of touch on this before we move on to the backup or 1Bs, if you will, on offense. They did a good job, but 7 carries for Corey Kiner, 10 team leading for Chuck, and then of course 5 carries for Miles Montgomery. One of those ended in a fumble. Another one ended in a 76-yard touchdown run. Kind of just mention what if you are looking at it, do you like the ability to kind of spread the ball around amongst the backfield as well? If Miles is able to continue to develop and really pick up his game and be a force as the third running back, or do you think that as the year wears on, you might want to find that kind of bell cow as Luke and Gino have mentioned, during the preseason?
Yeah, there's an argument for both sides. We got right now. I mean, especially this game, it's like, all right, we probably don't need to. We're moving the ball. Like, we don't need to run anyone into the ground this game. Let's spread the love. Especially, I mean, when you got guys who can all get it done and all make plays, it's like you can ride the hot hand. You can ride the hot hand. Who's playing well? Who's making the most plays? You can kind of scheme up an offense around that too. But I do agree. I think you need a 20-touch guy, a solidified touch guy, like we had with Jerome and Michael Warren. I think we have that ability too. I think between Ryan Montgomery and Corey Kiner, because Chuck with his injuries and being a little undersized, I don't know about between the tackles getting him the ball 20, 25 times a game, how realistic that could be. But I think between you split up 30, 35 carries between Ryan and Corey Kiner and between the tackles, maybe 20 for one, 15 for the other, 20 and 10. And I think you could really start to solidify moving forward. Like, all right, we have a good, like, 2-headed back between the tackle system. Let's get Chuck in there, maybe get him involved in the passing game, little swing, wheel routes. He's really, really fast, really good at that stuff. But I do agree. I think they need to kind of like narrow it down a little more as the season goes on, because I think that'll like help solidify a good two-back system and have those 2 backs playing and in the best rhythm they can be in.
How awesome has it been to see Chuck kind of have his resurgence, though? Because, man, you saw it as much as I did. That it felt so bad to see him, work all the way back, and then as soon as he worked all the way back, he tore the other one. A lot of guys would have quit, man. A lot of guys would have walked away and said, you know what, maybe this just isn't for me. But he kept fighting, and to see him having this type of success is really cool. I asked him after the game, I said, did you go back to Georgia and like walk through a fountain of youth, or what'd you do? Because you look fucking good, man.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so happy for him. I loved competing against him when he was healthy, because he was such a great player, played so hard, played the game the right way. And, obviously my heart broke for him when he got hurt, then broke even harder when he got hurt right when he got back. But it just shows just like how much work and effort and how great he did in rehab. I mean, it's just a great example of the type of person, type of player he is. It also just shows like how much of a freak athlete he is too, and just how much he was really getting held back, but he was still able to go out there and compete at, some of the highest levels in football. And that wasn't even him 100%. And it's so good to see him back here actually fully healthy, and I think he's going to make some big plays for us this year. I'm super excited for him.
It takes me back to that first, what was it, 18 or was it 19? It was 19. When him and Wig both tore their ACLs like 2 days apart, 3 days apart. And remember, like we would get to like November and those two were doing sprints up and down the sidelines, like 3 months after tearing an ACL. Now they weren't doing a lot of lateral stuff, but like you're like, these dudes are freaks, man. Like, there's nothing about them that's normal because 3 months after an ACL, I might not be out of bed yet.
Yeah. Yeah, we really did. It's the freakiness, but also the training staff. I mean, Aaron, Michelle, all of them, they do a great job. I mean, they just are literally
Jameson.
like, they'll have us. Jameson, yeah, he's in there. He's doing a lot of work too. Support therapy dog. No, they do a great job. I'm talking like all day long. Like those guys will get in there at 6 and they won't be leaving until 2 hours after practice is over. And that shows how great of a staff we have. And I mean, I remember Perry Young, like this is how great they are. Like Perry Young tore his Achilles on his way to try out for an NFL team. And they take him in, help him out. I mean, they got him like running 8 months after an Achilles tear. And he wasn't even like currently on roster, but obviously they'll do anything for, anyone who's been a part of this program. And so hats off to them. Hopefully we don't have to use that this year, knock on wood, but we got it in the back pocket. So it's good to know.
Now, Brent brought up the Miles fumble followed up by the Miles 76-yard break. And
he also had 2 carries on the drive before that were, I think, went for like 23, 25 yards total.
Yeah. I just want to bring up the fact that after the fumble, the staff, especially with the running back depth that they have, I feel like the staff very easily could have been like, let's put the ball in anybody else's hands. But instead, they gave him another chance to go back out and prove himself. Is that something that you feel like you saw a lot of with this staff as far as giving those extra second chances as opposed to just moving on from a guy in game?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, if you earn the respect, you earn the trust of your coaches. What they really made an emphasis on is like, we're not going to yank you for making a mistake. But if you make a mistake and you have a terrible attitude about it and you are, you're not giving good effort after that, your ass is out immediately. But you're not going to get that from a guy like Miles. So those coaches would never have to be in a spot to do that. And I think it's good as a player that you have that confidence, that belief from your coaches that, if I make a mistake that, they're still going to have my back and still going to let me go out there and show I can make up for it. So I love that. I think it's a great example, and not surprised Miles teed one off right after that. So that's just that's the kind of kid he is. So I just love that resolve, that bounce back.
Great blocking up the middle, obviously, and sprung him. You saw that speed that he has.
Oh yeah, the boy really CJ.
Excited. Yeah, CJ, John, your boy.
God, I love that.
Goddamn. But so, as Chad mentioned, it was a gain of 11 and a gain of 18 by Miles Montgomery during the drive in which Evan Prater came in. It was the second drive, and the first drive he led the team down the field, was capped off with a Corey Kiner touchdown. And then that second drive, you kind of saw the different ability that Evan brings to the team that Ben doesn't quite have, and I think Ben would agree that he doesn't. And that's the ability to first hit, a really good pass to Chris Scott on the outside, and then was able to kind of have that bread and butter play that Desmond Ridder loved, where he would roll out and have an option to throw it to a tight end or look a little bit further or just tuck it and run himself. And Evan busted it up for a 44-yard touchdown run. Had a couple of huge pancake blocks by Shamal Mateer and Blue Smith right there in front of him. But kind of just mentioned the electricity that you saw out of Evan Prater when he came onto the field, and kind of where you see his role, because I think a lot of people love seeing Evan Prater. The fan base was excited, and it's going to be an ongoing story throughout the entire season. Ben had an extremely efficient day. Was about as good as you could possibly be, only 3 incompletions. And then Evan comes in. He does bring a different added dimension to the offense when he's on the field.
Yeah. Obviously he has that ability to move like Des did. And you love it. It's some good. It's good that you have a guy who's not sour, who is a good teammate, a great teammate, I should say. And when he gets his opportunity, who loves football, gets to go out there and play the game. And he's going out there to play as hard as he can and make the most of his opportunities. That's exactly what he did. So I was super happy for him. Obviously, Evan's a great player, a great guy, a great friend. So that's another added bonus, getting to see him go in don't know. I was a little questionable on that little celebration he did. It kind of looked like he didn't really know what to do with his hands a little bit. A little Ricky Bobby action coming through the end
my
zone.
hands.
He was kind of like, oh, I'll just stick them out. But I mean, I loved it. It's raw emotion. It's good. But it just shows that, you know, like what are you saying?
Oh, go ahead. Finish up.
No, it just shows, you know, Evan's been handling this situation well. You know, he's waiting for his opportunity. He's waiting for his turn. And when he goes in, you know, when guys succeed in those kind of circumstances, it shows you, you know, they're in a good headspace. They've been having a good mentality. They've been a great teammate because, you know, I believe great things come to great people. And so I think that happened with them. So, I mean, I'm happy.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. He's sour. It's human nature to be sour that you didn't win the job. But the people that rise above it, are the ones that can compartmentalize. Or, you know, I've got a great picture of him and Ben on the sidelines right after that touchdown. And Ev's got the football in his hands, tossing back and forth, and Ben's right there, and they're talking and cutting it up and having a good time. Like, it's okay to be a little pissed off that you didn't win the job, but you use that to propel you and fuel you. Like, I just let's call it what it is. Nobody's happy that they didn't win the job.
Yeah. Yep. You're 100% right. I think that's really well said. Any competitor, anyone that's going to make it on this team, you know, they're going to want to be in every single snap. They're going to want to be the starter. They want to make every single play because we don't want anyone else out there. And obviously Evan has that mentality, but like you said, being able to take that like selfishness, be able to channel it and then turn it into being a good teammate, but still being motivated at the same time in your own headspace is good. And it just shows how good of a teammate he is.
Now, I've got another important question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Describe to me trying to tackle Shimama Taylor.
I don't think I've ever had to try to tackle him. I have tried to block defeat him and like reroute him, and it is not easy. And he can move, man. He's got some great feet, and I mean, sometimes, you know, he's just so big, and like you think that he wouldn't be able to move and have such great routes. But I mean, I think that's one of the best part of his games, his ability to move and make guys miss, get open. But I've never had to tackle
stiff arm you and slam you into the ground.
I never had to tackle him, but I was pretty confident I would have took him right to town, show him how it's done, you know, the show style. So you could tell him I said that.
Here for. Yeah.
You could tell him if he wants to do a little one-on-one, just tell him to get the pads out and we'll really find out.
Now, call me crazy if you want. And I'll turn the camera on for this. Josh and Lenny are crazy, crazy talented. They are going to play in the NFL and make a lot of money. Shaman can be better. That's up to him, whether he is or not. But Shaman can be better.
I think Shaman's like a little blend of Lenny and Josh. He's got the quickness route running that Wiley has a little bit more than Lenny, but he has Lenny's build, more thicker, and you know, some could say that he might be a little bit better with his hand down than Josh. I don't know. You know, I don't know 100%, but you know,
Josh has gotten a lot better there.
No, yeah, Josh has
when he was young for sure, but he's
better there. You can ask Josh. I used to just take advantage of him all the time at practice. He was with his little skinny ass back in the day. We had to show him how it's done. I'm sure he was mad that my little short ass was taking it to him too. But no, Josh is obviously just got like Josh is bulked up, and you know, but he hasn't lost that speed. I love with Josh up the seam. I think it's obviously that first touchdown, great ball by Ben, great route, but it's just Josh's quickness, just being able to stick his foot in the ground and just get open really quickly. But yeah, Shaman might not ever be as tall as Wiley and as fast as Wiley, but he might be a little bit a better route runner than Lenny. So I think he's like that perfect middle ground. And, you know, when you got all that talent and you got those similarities of two different NFL caliber tight ends, you know, the sky's the limit. And we're going to see that here the next couple of years. I'm excited.
Were you surprised at all by just the emotion that you can see on Lenny's face here?
Yeah, he's got the potential to be better. Sure.
I mean, just looking at how happy he is for
Not at all.
Shimon right here on
Dude,
this slide.
Lenny. Lenny's one of the best when it comes to that. Like, he's gonna find when it comes to football, he's boys with everyone. And if you're making a play, he's gonna be one of the first guys there. So I love that. Not surprised at all, though.
Yeah, another thing, obviously, just wrapping up the quarterback talk is the fact that, the way that Evan played and the way that, the recognition he got for playing is, as Tony Hill mentioned in the comments, Luke mentioned also that he liked having the ability to send the 1Bs out there and actually running plays and having a script for them to kind of get out there and show what they can do rather than just, handing the ball off as many times until it's time to punt or kick a field goal or you get into the end zone. So that showed a lot as well, the offense of what they're able to do. But also in a way, Ben will be able to watch that and say, wow, Evan's right there. Evan's a spectacular player. I got to continue to step my game up. The same as what Lenny and Josh are probably in the back of their mind. They're not going to get jumped by Shimon at all, but, they're going to say, okay, Shimon is next up. And Shimon's going to say, yeah, if I want to continue to see the field, I got to step my level up to their play. So I think just the ability to see all the backups is a way for them to continue to get better throughout the season, which is just awesome. Hopefully see a lot of the same coming up this Saturday as well.
Well, it's hard not to be excited. It's hard not to be excited when Evan Prater and Shimon Mateer and Corey Kiner and Miles Montgomery are like, we got next.
Yeah.
But like they're able to help out right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how that all shakes out.
I guess it's not a problem. Yeah. It's a great situation to have. Healthy competition, man. We preach it all the time. And that's what it's great for everyone. You don't ever want to be comfortable.
You guys saw it on defense, right? With B. Cook. Like the time that B. Cook wasn't playing behind Forrest and Wiggins and Hicks, like every day in practice, it was like, man, this dude.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't even get me started.
So good.
It was his year when he first got there and he couldn't.
And he redshirted. Yeah.
He redshirted. They would put him on like scout teams, special teams. And like, I was like, he would always be like going against me. And
oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah. And like, I would have to like, and he'd be on KOR. And like, normally it's like guy, like, lesser skill on the special scout team than like Brian Cook, who is an NFL safety. And it would be like a war every snap because he's a dog. He's a dude. Like he didn't take any like play off. Like especially even in his redshirt year, because that's just the kind of guy he is. And it obviously you see how much, and like that's the mentality he had that year behind those guys. And that's exactly why he's in the NFL. Because he just never took a break and was always preparing like he was the starter. And that's how he earned the job and he like made millions of dollars from it now.
Yeah, especially obviously you look at what Derek Forrest did this past weekend as well in the NFL. Just the talent in that safety position is just incredible.
Look, Royer will tell you there was never a doubt. Yeah. There was never a doubt when Defo got to the NFL that as long as he got the opportunity, he was going to do what he did yesterday. Like that's just a dude that gets shit done.
100%.
Like that's the best way I can describe it.
It was never, it was just a matter of when. It was like when was it going to happen? So that I love that. That's one of the best guys to ever come through this past 5 years, if not the best. I mean, you could get Brady Collins on here. He could tell you about D4 for D4. Oh yeah, I mean he deserves it too. Like 100% deserves it. I mean, hell of a player, hell of a man. I mean, and Brady, he's gonna get even better every year.
Brady told me from the day Derek and Kobe got here, these two, like I don't like everybody else can be good. We're gonna get this shit right, but these two, Derek and Kobe, are going to do special things. And
Yeah.
Brady's never been wrong. I don't know that I've ever had a comment we could go back to where Brady wasn't right.
Yeah.
He's a
I
magician.
think
He's just
Brady
perfect.
knows. He is. He is.
Yes.
You're telling me.
Brady is God.
Wow. Slap that mustache on him. He is. He is. Some
Easy,
sort of
Brent.
guy. There's no
Easy,
doubt about
easy,
that.
Brent. Easy. Down boy. Down boy.
But yeah, that's a good transition into the anything else on the offense. I mean, we could go on and on nitpicking how great Jaden Thompson looked and probably his route running. We can nitpick continuously all these different players and plays, but we got to talk about the defense as well. I think, well, first off, Forrest was rated the highest, graded out as the highest on the entire Commanders team.
Number 2 safety in the NFL yesterday.
Number 2 safety in the NFL, yeah. So that's
in his first start.
Hell yeah.
telling you something.
Hell
First
yeah.
start.
Love it.
Yeah. Wally Pip is all I got to say to that. So
Oh yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. But kind of rolling into the defense, it's kind of strange for me to look at first Arkansas, who had a big 14-point win against South Carolina last weekend. They did lose Jalen Catalon for the rest of the year, but that's a team that is in the top 10, going to continue creeping up. But, against Arkansas, you're facing an RPO heavy run team, kind of unorthodox. And then you face a triple option team, obviously unorthodox. This defense is yet to face like a typical offense. You know what I mean? It's just how excited, first off, from a broad stance, do you think this defense is now to be able to say, okay, we're going to actually face a team that'll be running regular sets. We don't have to worry about a crazy triple option or the ability of a quarterback to bust it up the middle and run you over or anything like that. We're going to be able to face a team that will run a typical, hand the ball off, play action, look for a pass. Just a normal offensive set.
Yeah, coming off the triple, it's always like a weight off the shoulders. It's like, oh, all right, back to normal. Like, how many, like, we didn't have anybody like go down with like bad injuries. Like, that's always like, you worry that much about. You worry about that a lot when it comes to the triple and to, come out of there healthy and dominant. That's good, but we got to remember it's an FCS team. We did what we were supposed to do, and we can't act like everything's solved and we're the hottest things in sliced bread. We got to let it motivate us, let it be a stepping stone. I think they will. That's the kind of defense they are. But obviously it's playing right into our strengths, getting back to more traditional offensive schemes. I think it bodes well for us, for our defense, for our scheme, for how we like to play a lot of guys. I think it's going to give us more opportunities to make plays, be stout. But obviously next week we got to get back to tackling more in space. We're going to be out more in space now. We're not going to be in the triple. You don't get as much experience with that. And we obviously struggled with tackling versus Arkansas, especially in that second half. So we got to be ready and be prepared and, right that ship. But I think it's good. I think it's a good stepping stone. But we got to remember we haven't played Bearcat defense yet. I don't think we played it versus Arkansas. So we got to remember it. We definitely we have not arrived yet, but I'm excited. Next week's another opportunity to get better for them and correct some of those mistakes.
You want to know my favorite moment from Saturday?
Jabari Taylor?
Yes, but with the caveat that it was his comment in the post-game press conference where he scored and he took it all the way over to the Kennesaw State sideline. And then he said at one point there was a realization that, like, now I have to run back to my sideline and they get the ball. So I'm going to have to go out and play defense again after just sprinting in like 30 yards for a touchdown, running 40 yards across the end zone, and then another 40 yards, 50 yards all the way back to the sideline. Like, I have a picture of him that I posted with one of the stories. And it's like at this moment, you could see Jabari realize that he screwed up and was on the wrong sideline. Like that was my
We just
favorite
had to-
part. Was
Yeah, that's hilarious. Corleone had to bring his best friend the oxygen tank over there for him to help a brother out. But
hey, the Godfather.
oh yeah, we were standing next to each other when he made that play.
We were.
Yeah, Malone. There we go. It's the Godfather right there.
I don't think he's Italian. I don't know for sure. I don't think he's Italian.
Oh, it's an good educated guess.
But
You
Maybe.
never know.
the kid makes plays on the inside of the defense, man. You won't know this name, and he's built a lot different, but he reminds me of like his ability to just make things happen of Terrell Bird.
Oh, I was gonna say
Which is
Terrell.
Another Coleraine
Coleraine
kid.
guy.
Yep.
Mhm.
Terrell
Yeah,
Bird
it's
was
like-
back in those 07, 08, like those early Brian Kelly teams, and they're I mean, obviously their bodies are totally different, but Bird was a little shorter.
He was a
little more
twin, wasn't he?
compact.
I think he was a twin.
You're a Coleraine guy. I have no idea.
I think he was a twin.
Was he in
That's
your
that
class?
Tom Bolden.
I went to Northwest. I didn't go to Coleraine.
Oh, he was Northwest.
And I
It's
graduated.
Coleraine light.
Well, Coleraine took all the football players from Northwest. That's how it went.
Right. That's why I call it
Tommy
Coleraine light.
Bolden recruiting illegally. Should we turn him in?
Well,
get Lakota West.
when
Carey was still there at that point, right?
When I was at Northwest in 2002, Bolden was still at Northwest. He hadn't even moved to Coleraine yet. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Coleraine
really?
stole Bolden from Northwest.
Yeah.
Didn't he get there like 2007, 8? Which one was it? I don't remember.
It's
I was-
right, that's
I was-
right around like it's 06 or like 06 or 07 was when Carey came to UC.
Yeah,
graduating college.
Carey, because Davidson beat his like one of his best teams ever in the playoffs, and I was talking to him at Higher Ground. He's like, after that, I had to get out of there. Sorry, Coach Combs. That's just we do things a little different around in Hilliard, but no, those Coleraine kids are tough. Everyone's tough there, but the only one that's not is Kyle Bolden. He's kind of a soft.
Coach's kids, man. Coach's kids. Some of them have it, some of them don't.
Kyle Bolden.
I saw him walking.
He's one of my
I
best
saw-
friends,
yeah.
so I can tell you that. I can say this about him. So
Royer, I saw him walking off the field after the game. He had like an entourage.
he did
Like, he
have
had a
that.
couple
The
people
Bo-
like walking behind him.
Of
Like
the,
dude,
of the female
Bolden,
persuasion.
that's Bolden, man. He's got a girlfriend though. Don't worry, he's a nice, loyal man. But Kyle Bolden, the only football player I've ever met that was able to literally explode his whole knee running in a straight line. R.I.P. to his career.
yeah,
What
on a kickoff, right?
running down on a kickoff, and then he exploded his kneecap. So I got to go in at linebacker. So thanks for that, bud. Appreciate you, man.
Well, then he went on to find Pump It Up. So
Yeah.
maybe it was just like it was
And-
a blessing in disguise.
And Andy was
Yeah.
the key at solving the triple option after giving up
Oh my god.
7,000 yards against Navy. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Bolden took over the triple option prep, and next thing you know, the triple option is useless against the Bearcats.
Yep.
Now, you
Bolden
brought
was a
up the
big
fact.
part of that.
I didn't see you with an entourage on the field on Saturday.
Oh no, I was not. I was me and Bolden, we were enjoying ourselves on the sideline. We were having a good time. But no, I did not have an entourage. I'm not at that level, man.
Now, you brought up the fact that Cincinnati hasn't played their defense yet this season. We saw a different look from them, though, with as much as they went 4 down linemen. That's as much as I've seen them go 4 down linemen, maybe in like 4 or 5 years. Were you surprised at all to see them switch things up? And
It's
Have you
every
been-
time they play the triple option.
Yeah, that's just our scheme. So we scheme that up. It's an automatic. We have like a different. We do like a whole different defense basically.
okay,
For the triple.
4-4-3, yeah.
Yeah.
have
Like,
you
if
been
you know,
surprised?
it's just
you
like
guys ran-
Ty.
last year you guys ran bare front 5.
Yeah, you know, it's Ty and DP would be on the field at the same time because we'd like put that extra linebacker in and then take a safety out and run one high safety. It's just like it's the way we kind of adopted that defense ever since we got obliterated by Navy.
Dog walk. By the way,
Yeah. Hey, but
I'm
ever
guessing
since
there
then,
was-
man, never again.
I mean,
I'm
that
guessing there
next
was
year
one
was
guy
like
on.
42-0
Yeah.
Yeah.
at the nip.
I'm guessing there's one
Cortez
guy on
Broughton.
defense you were more proud of than anyone.
Guessing.
Maybe number 57.
Mulaney. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about that. I mean, that's great. Like Mulaney's always been a dude that plays his butt off, and getting to see him like rewarded for that is great. And he was doing a great job. I mean, that's perfect for him. His style. He's quick off the line. He's physical. He likes to get his hands on the O lineman, and that's exactly what you try to do when you're trying to defeat a triple option. And so that was perfect for his skill set. And I love to see him out there. I think he did a great job. Hopefully he can get himself some more snaps out of that performance. So
unfortunately, I think he's going to, I think there's a lot more snaps that are going to be available. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't get in. You know why? I know why. People listening probably know why. I'm just not going to say it out loud, but
put 2 and 2 together. Yeah.
I think there's going to be some snaps available at defensive end. Unfortunately, we'll touch on that next week, maybe.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, have you been, as much as we talked about like the linebackers that were going to be the best position on this side of the ball, have you been surprised with how well the defensive line has been playing thus far this season?
I mean, they have been doing great. I'm not surprised, like with like Jabari, Malik, and Jawan. I have been pleasantly surprised with Corleone, Eric Phillips, because we knew they were going to get snaps, but there's one thing, getting snaps, and then making plays is another thing. Those guys are stepping up, making plays, not coming off no experience, not a lot of snaps before this year, and like that's super encouraging. To be able to have depth, and not only just have depth, but depth that can step in and make plays, just like the 1As are. So that's great. So I'm a little more surprised to speak on just like the guys rotating in, but obviously we had a great room, and so I'm expecting more of them.
Yeah, I thought Noah Potter had some really good plays as well out there. Just as the thing about Potter, I think, is what Marcus Freeman mentioned about Darian Beavers back when he was his first season here. Just the fact that he was out there thinking the whole time. He wasn't playing without thinking. And then once he unlocked that ability to just go out there and play, that's when Darian kind of took off. And then obviously his final season, he just positioned himself as an NFL player. But when it comes to the triple option, you mentioned last season at Navy, Arquan Bush, I think, played one defensive snap, and on that play, he was able to come up with an interception, to seal the game. Well, we had another interception this past weekend, and it was one that was actually the 8th for Javon Hicks, but he was able to return that one for a touchdown. Luke in the postgame presser mentioned that they've got a running joke amongst the Coleraine players about how they can get the turnover, but they can never find the end zone, and a la Deshaun Pace getting tackled at the 2 or 3 against IU and against Notre Dame. So was that kind of a running joke during the season last year as well?
Oh,
or was
yeah.
it kind of just like, what are they going to do? Is Coleraine going to ever make it in?
No, that has been a running joke. That's 100% true. But yeah, it was great seeing Javon being finally taken in, because he's just been a turnover machine in his career. And I know it's special as a defensive guy to be able to score and get it into the end zone. And for as many as he had without getting a score, I think that's something super, something he was probably super excited about. I was really happy to see that for him.
Yeah, it was a little bit different than Jabari's touchdown, because like Chad said, if you rewatch it, Jabari does sprint like directly over to Kennesaw State's sideline, and that's a little puzzling. At least Hicks was able to come straight over to the Bearcat sideline, so he might have been knowing what to do once you get there, be there like you've been there before type thing. But aside from that, another safety, and Chad's mentioned him during the postseason, the off-season practice reports. Constantly, you were able to definitely get some reps with him in practice and possibly in some games last year. It's Armarion Smith. What did you see out of that guy last season? And he's able to be an absolute bone crusher out on the field, and I think that's the type of mold that this defense needs to have at safety. And obviously, his future seems super, super bright.
Yeah, Armarion always had a super high ceiling, but learning the defense was always kind of holding him back when he first got there. And everything I've heard from guys in the safety room and coaches is just how much of a big step he took towards understanding his position and the defense better. And that's why you're really seeing him out there being able to make plays. Cause I mean, he just has a great frame, a great body type for safety, long, can move, can hit, play. He plays really hard. I mean, he's a great player, a great guy. So I think it was just being able to learn that defense, get over that like mental hump that he had. And I think like the more experience, the more plays, the more reps he's getting in practice, he's just going to keep exponentially getting better. I'm excited about
Biggest
him.
thumper on the team, isn't he?
Biggest thumper
I think
on the
he
team.
hits harder than anybody on the team. Ivan maybe, Deshaun maybe, but when
Deshaun hits hard. Deshaun hits really hard. I know that.
When Armorion hits you, you stay hit.
Yeah.
It takes a
Dingle
second
hits
to get
really
up.
hard too. Jacob Dingle
he
can
does.
lay the wood. Some people don't get to see that much, but yeah, Marion's up there. I think my top three would have to be Deshaun, then Amarion, and then Dingle.
That's fair. I think that's a good list.
Yeah.
Threats had a big hit stick too.
Oh yeah, Threat. I forgot about him. Threats. Yeah, Threat plays with reckless abandon. Can't forget about him too.
Put him 4, comfortable 4.
Yeah,
respectable 4.
I'm gonna have to do some research on my hit list for next week. I'll get back to you.
All right.
And then possibly a player that's making a move up the list is Ethan Wright. The first game action that we saw him at safety, and in limited time, he came up with 7 tackles.
He's everywhere.
Pretty impressive to see out of him. Obviously, probably one of the best all-around athletes on the team, if you would say. Do you see him just kind of blossoming at that safety position?
Yeah, he's a great athlete. He's a great football player. He's physical. He plays hard. He's got like those intangible things that you can't like coach. Just that effort and just like wanting to just kill people every single snap. And so that's something that's really gonna like elevate his game, especially once he gets comfortable playing that new position. But same thing with like a Derek Forrest. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. He's going to get it, and he's going to blow up, and he's going to do great. So hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I think it will be.
Let's say it with our chest, Royer. That's what we like to do here. Ethan Wright will play safety in the NFL. I'll say it.
I believe you. I'd have to watch more of him, but I mean, I don't doubt that he could find his way there.
You could see at higher ground every practice was like,
okay,
he learned from this mistake yesterday. Like he learned like
yeah.
And each time out, it would be like, okay, man, like this kid's he's not just going to be content with sitting at the back of that safety room.
Oh no,
and it's a very good safety room.
Yes, it is.
It's becoming a strength of the roster in that safety room, which makes it harder and harder to get on the field. But man, he just plays. And I asked him, I said, what about going back to defense? He said it took about a week of camp, and then it all started flooding back because he played safety in high school. He was like, all right, now I'm picking up.
Let's play ball, baby.
The tackle for loss he had was Brian Cook.
Yeah.
Well,
he shot the gap on a little flare to the outside, wrapped the guy up, hog tied him before he could get back to the line of scrimmage. That was Brian Cook. That was Defoe. That's so many guys we've seen before. So there's a lot of talent in that safety room, but you better watch out because Ethan Wright's coming for your snaps.
Well, Chad,
I agree.
Wasn't it? It might have been Brady on here or Luke after one of the practices during fall camp that he said that he's starting to see a bunch of Brian Cook and Ethan Wright. So
yeah,
that's when it comes from whether it was even Tressel or someone, when it comes from the staff, that there's a lot of truth behind that. So yeah, I was extremely impressed with when he was on the field, just the ability to fly around, and he's on kickoff team as well, and just flying around on special teams, which is as we mentioned, the way to win Luke's heart over and see potential snaps down the line. So I think Ethan Wright's got a lot of potential.
I mean, I'm convinced the way that they value special teams, if Royer would have used his COVID year, he might not have been a 1A, but he'd have been a 1B.
I don't know about that. Special teams, that was my fun club. I was my only membership on the team. I had fun there. We didn't venture over to that defensive club that much, but only for spring ball and for the spring game.
Where you dominated, where you were the best player at the spring game. Yeah.
Sometimes when you're 23 years old, beating up on a bunch of kids who are missing out on their prom dates, you might do kind of well, but that was Alec Pierce, and I would say that like anytime I made a play, he's like, "Hey, good job, bro. You just beat up a 17-year-old."
And you're like, "You're damn right, I did."
Yeah, and I'll do it again and again.
That was my job. That's what they told me to do.
Yep. No, I agree. Ethan Wright has very similar play styles to Brian and Derek. And if you do that, then you have a really good shot of making the NFL. And a guy with Ethan's mentality, his work ethic, yeah, I could definitely see him finding his way onto an NFL team.
I'll let you explain this because you know it better. You understand it better than I do. Was he really a safety? It seemed like he was playing more of Sam in a 4-4.
Yeah, so kind of like how I said, Ty and Deshaun would be on the field at the same time. We kind of do run those it's like almost like two outside like backers, and then we have like two like middle backers and then one true high safety. So yeah, he was playing that like hybrid safety backer position where you're kind of like at linebacker level, but you're not in the box. But he'll play boundary safety in our traditional defense.
Okay. Well, yeah, Jack Dingle with 7 tackles as well. So Briggs at 8 up the middle. Dante with his sack. Coming off the edge, both Phillips and Noah Potter were putting up tackles. So yeah, I think against triple option, it's a big hey, defensive line, this is cup check time and go out there and dominate the line of scrimmage and we win this football game. So I think that they were able to obviously do that pretty clearly. 63-10 ended up being the final in this one. 28 straight wins at Nippert Stadium. Is that something that the staff kind of harps on, or is it kind of just something in the back of the mind that all the players know?
I mean, every Thursday practice, Coach Brady will give a speech, I guess you could say, and every time we're playing in Nippert, he references the streak with the appropriate win total updated each time we win and how it means something. It's special. Like it is something that we reference it in our summer workouts. We work out in Nippert. It's a big deal to us. And it is something that we know about because we want to defend that place. It's a special place, great history, and you got to win games at home. If you want to do anything, you got to win all your home games. So that it is something we really harp on, and it's obviously come to fruition.
Well, speaking of winning games, 15 straight against the Miami Red Hawks, who are be heading on into Paul Brown or Paycor Stadium this Saturday. Is that another thing that's just like, all right, victory bell, time to just go out there, shuttle up, and continue this streak? Because I mean, when it's at 15, 16, if they win this year, they're gonna remember the streak, but they're gonna probably remember the team if, God forbid, they did break the streak. They're gonna remember that probably a little bit more than the streak itself.
We don't think about the streak at all. We think about the rivalry. Rivalries are big. It's a big deal to us. This rivalry is a really big deal to our team, to our coaches, and our culture. We take this game super personal. We don't care if, they might be considered in a lower conference or not as big of a football school as we are, so to say, if you want to word it like that. But we take this very seriously, and we do not reference the last what the record and the recent success we've had. It's all in, like, rivalries matter, and Coach Fickle thinks tradition and rivalries are a big deal and what make college football special, and I 100% agree with him. And we treat this rivalry like it's not about the streak. It's not about playing, like, quote unquote, a max school, like how some people used to like to word it like that. This is a huge game for us. We prepare like it's a huge game because it is. We want to beat the ever-loving shit out of Miami. It's a rivalry for a reason.
Well, then how did you feel last year when you found out that they were pulling starters out of the game as opposed to going full strength against you guys?
They can do what they want. We're gonna put our guys in, and we're gonna try to dominate them every single snap. That's how we treat the rivalry. So they could treat it how they want, and if they don't want to take it seriously, that's their decision. I think it's a bad one because we're gonna be coming out swinging with everything we got, like we have, and how we will do this Saturday. So I'm super excited for it. Rivalries matter. They matter a lot, and you're going to see that on Saturday.
This one's for the lead, right?
Yeah.
The all-time series is now tied.
It's now tied.
So,
but it don't matter, man.
I'm the type of asshole that, like, okay, get the win, and then just cancel it. Be done. We're up one. See you guys later.
Fresh start. You guys seen the other guys? You've seen the other guys? Fresh start. We're the Febreze brothers.
Golly. Well, I guess. Well, then, since it is Red Hawk week, if you will, what's your favorite game that you played against them? Was it the monsoon at then Paul Brown Stadium? Was it kind of the other big wins? Which one kind of sticks out the most to you?
I mean, obviously the first one of the Fickle era was like one of the craziest games ever. That was crazy. I mean, I wasn't suited up. They brought us all, the non-travel squad. They brought us to the game. So I was in my jersey but no pads. That one was insane, but last year we just, it feels good to just kind of like, beat the shit out of them. That's what you want to do. And like, that's what you train for. That's what we harp on. And, we got the bell in there all week. It's sitting right there. We're thinking about it every single moment we see it. It's right in our face. So I'd probably say last year was the best. It was week 1. I mean, Nippert was rocking. It was, I'd say last year's my favorite big game or something.
Well, they said loudest moment at Nippert was the touchdown pass to Tyler Scott on that opening play. So definitely Nip was rocking.
What's that?
What's that?
So that was the loudest moment? Did someone say that?
Isn't that what they said? The highest decibel volume or
by the decibel count? Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Really? Huh.
I mean, it was the opener. Everybody was like, you guys were supposed to have the greatest season in program history. Everybody was in the stadium, ready to get nuts. And then on the first play, he threw a 75-yard touchdown. Or second play, the 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah. I just would have thought, like, my experience that the championship game versus Houston was the loudest college football environment I've ever.
Maybe it was just regular season, Brent.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Even then I thought Sauce's pick 6 was when that place was, or even Michael Ward's run at the end of the third quarter in that same game, that the crowd was just erupting. So but yeah, according to, I don't know who sent it.
Hey, it's a good debate to have.
There we go.
Those are all great memories. But we got let's make some more now.
Amen. That's right. Big game on Saturday. Aaron, is there any questions at all that we should throw at Ryan?
The people are kind of demanding that Royer now stays for the mailbag. Now he can't leave.
He threw it out there last week, so there's definitely some questions. So,
what is your guys' opinion on playing at Paul Brown?
I don't love it.
I don't. I think it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
I mean, I'd rather go to Oxford, to be honest.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Coming from Athens,
No,
driving all the way from
Oh.
Athens. That drive sucks.
I mean,
That drive sucks from here.
I know.
for me. It's
I
just
would.
more
It's a
atmosphere.
cool little stadium, though. Yeah, and they got all those. The students are right there behind you. It makes for a little fun environment.
All like 250 of them.
Yeah, they're too busy at the frat parties to come watch the Red Hawks, but
I'm
it's all right.
guessing
It's a
you've been
different.
up
It's
to
a
few
different
of those.
culture. It's a different culture.
I'm
At
guessing
Miami?
you stopped up to a few of those.
Hell, no. Never,
No?
never. I'm a Clifton rat, man. I
Aaron's
love-
family owns half the bars in
I don't-
Oxford.
My family does own half the bars in Oxford.
Well, I'll never give him a cent, man. I'm sorry. I'm taking Tavern, Woody's. I'm taking all those. I'm taking that
Murphy.
over.
I'm mad at you.
Murphy's forgot that. Max, God, don't get me reminiscing, man.
Murphy's after the IU game. Let's tear it up, Ryan. But yeah,
Don't tell him you'll be there. He'll be there.
then we'll be there then. But no, Paycor
Murphy's
downtown
God, great.
downtown Cincy is supposed to be popping, right? It's Oktoberfest this weekend. It's a lot of things going on downtown.
You could go to the game and then go from there to the Holy Grail at the Banks and celebrate the Bearcats taking the lead in the series.
There we
in
go.
The battle for the victory bell.
There we go.
And Chad's buying everyone a shot.
I heard. That's what I heard.
Hey,
Hey.
Chad might need a couple shots because kill all that bacteria. Whatever's got him
Wait.
sick. I think you
Wait.
could use a little.
Yeah,
liquor.
what happened to the neon sign?
I got to figure out a way to for it not to be so bright.
Okay. I heard about it and I just remembered it. I was like, when you were
You haven't
looking
seen
behind,
it?
I was like, no, I haven't seen it yet.
it's something.
Well, this is what it looks like,
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
which is awesome.
That's quaint. That's nice. I like it.
Are we about to get blinded?
It's bright.
I'm kind of scared.
Gotta plug it in.
Try
don't you
unplugging
just
and
blow
plugging it
up?
back in. Yeah, just all the lights just done.
Oh my
Oh.
God, that white is almost not visible.
Well,
Here's the problem.
there it
Royer.
goes.
There we go.
Here's the problem, Royer. That's 10%.
All right,
But
do
it's
it.
all
Let's see
100.
it. Let's see it.
You can't
That's
even see
100.
the room anymore.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
the lights are still on, and you can't even see the room.
Chad's
Like
getting ready to play
this, it looks
the.
awesome.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool. Chad, all you need is like
have that be your camera.
all you
shot.
need is like a little pump it up or a little EDM music going. I
Right.
think you can throw a little party in there, man. I like it.
So what I need to do, I think, as I've researched this, is I need to get like some tempered, like acrylic over the front of it, and that should dull down the white enough to make it
visible.
presentable. Because ideally, Royer, what we're gonna do is put it right there,
Yeah,
like right here,
yeah, that's perfect.
and it
Could
would
you
be
do-
awesome.
Could you do a black backdrop though?
The backdrop is not the problem. The problem is the front.
All right.
The problem is the front. So
I haven't done
We're
my
working on
neon
it.
sign research recently, so
I've done a lot of neon sign research recently, and like it's worth the money I spent on it. It is awesome.
I can only imagine the rabbit holes you go in for neon sign
Right.
research. Look at this one. Steve is
Leave it at
see through
leave
time
it at-
again.
Leave it at 10%. It was still washing out the screen, Paul.
Reed, we've tried everything trying to get this like camera ready. We've literally, I think we've
I've messed with every setting. I downloaded the app for the webcam. I've messed with every setting. I've messed with every setting on the computer. The only thing I think I can do, I think there's two options, is to either get like some black electrical tape and cover the LEDs with that, and that's kind of like the ghetto solution.
Last ditch resort.
Yeah, or get the tinted, basically like put a tinted window in front of it, and then that should dull down the neon to the point where it'll work.
Okay.
Just put a blackout curtain over the front. That messes with the red is the problem.
I'm seeing
the
Kobe,
red is perfect.
I'm seeing Kobe got beat pretty bad in this game tonight.
Yeah, he got dusted by Jerry Jeudy on a 70-yard touchdown.
It happens.
Jerry Jeudy.
Jerry Jeudy.
Was he out? Was he playing slot corner or was he playing normal?
I didn't see the full play as I was focusing on this, but
I haven't seen anything, but I'm sure the clip will
Joel?
come out at some point.
Joel DeBlanco was telling me they're working him a lot at nickel too.
yeah, he was a starter at nickel, I believe.
Yeah.
Did
R.I.P.
Joel make
Joel's
practice
Seahawks
squad?
career.
Did he
No,
not
they-
make practice squad?
No,
Dang.
I know. Tough.
I kept looking for him on Madden. I still haven't seen him yet with a profile on Madden.
He'd be what, a 49 overall?
I mean, either way, just you buy the actual hard disk and you keep that. Like I was
Right.
on this.
Oh
game.
yeah. No, I know. I got to give him a hard time though. That's one of my boys.
So Kobe was in the slot. It was a bit underthrown. Could have had the tackle, but you know what? It's game one. You've got plenty of time, man.
Yeah, Joe Burrow threw like 5 interceptions. So
Right, exactly.
That was the craziest NFL game I've ever watched.
That's why I watch the Bengals as a comedy instead of a drama. Because at the end, I was able to just be like, "You dumb motherfuckers!"
I lost a year of my life yesterday.
I was laughing. I was audibly laughing at like some of the things I couldn't
Are
believe.
you a Browns
Even-
guy?
I wasn't gonna say, but yeah, I am.
Ooh. You and Brady.
Ew, this season. Ew.
I can't. I might. I don't think I could be a fan after week 11. It's gonna be. I'm not a fan of that at all. Yeah,
Fair enough.
terrible move.
But no, it was funny because I had the Colts on one screen and the Bengals on the other screen, and it was just like Heartbreak City. My group chats. One is very Colts centric. The other one's very Bengals
Rough day for
centric.
AP.
It's just
Yeah.
That's the
Crack over the
NFL,
middle.
man. You got-
But shocking, they threw at Sauce like 3 times for one completion for 8 yards.
Weird.
There we go.
Hard to believe.
It's almost
And
like
you know
he did that a couple of times here.
He did. And you know what? It's going to be fun now because now I guarantee you quarterbacks and wide receivers are going to be looking at that because I mean ESPN's retweeting it and everyone's
Yeah.
posting it.
They
So
want the
now people are
challenge.
going to be like, "Here we go."
Well,
Let's
here's
go
the
after it.
problem. Their other 3 DBs are
They're
trash.
terrible. Like on that one deep touchdown, it's like he passed them off to the guy and like the safety had no idea what to do. It was
I think
like-
it'd be fantastic if he pulled like a Chad Ochocinco and just sent them bottles of sauce after they got covered by him.
That would be great.
I want
Ryan,
to
have
try
you
that.
tried the
That sounds
sauce
good.
sauce?
No, I haven't. The Ahmad sauce?
Yeah,
Ahmad
the sauce. Do you
I
not
don't
know
know why
about this?
Ahmad sauce. No, I know what it is. I'm just being an
I was
asshole
like, wait a second.
because I
Okay.
don't call him sauce. Remember, that's my whole joke. With
Oh,
him.
Yeah,
that's right.
sure.
The
I
Ahmad sauce.
followed. I was there with you.
I missed
Thanks,
the joke.
Aaron.
My bad.
It's-
I'm turning my camera off again.
I don't know if Ahmad. I don't think Ahmad sauce has as good of marketing appeal though. So
Doesn't have that
smart
same
move
ring.
by B-dubs. Yeah,
Right there.
it's
Who
almost
is
like
Ahmad?
they.
Sauce. But no, it's funny. He literally took every version of barbecue sauce and just blended it together. I mean, brilliant job. It's
Can't
he's
mess that up.
putting fingerprint stamps of sauce on cards, trading cards. Man,
Wow,
good for him. Yeah,
that's
it's very
awesome.
good.
Wasn't he like signing autographs in sauce?
Yeah. So the card
He
that I
was dipping
saw,
the pen in sauce.
Yeah.
the card that I saw was like
Dear
his
Lord.
signature, and then he would just put his like thumb stamp of sauce on the card.
Unbelievable.
And it's a 1-of-1 card. So it's like, okay, that one will be worth quite a lot, but I don't know how that sauce
Yeah,
you get moldy
card
like 5 years down the
stink,
line. The
man.
card
Smells
dissolves.
funny.
sneaky ass card.
It's just like dissolving. You're trying to sell it real fast. You're like,
You
I
have to
swear this is
You
the
just put it
card.
in airtight like immediately, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You vacuum seal. You can vacuum seal your card with the sauce signature.
Can't even send that to be graded. Like no one wants it.
It's gonna make it that much more rare, Aaron. No one
guess.
wants to have the mold, so it'll be
No one
One of
wants to
one.
touch
Bring
it.
me the mold. I ain't even gonna sell it. Bring me the mold. But yeah. So any questions in the mailbag catered towards Ryan?
Yeah, there were a couple. We can maybe even open up the football portion here. If you want to run through the football portion real quick while Ryan's here.
Yeah.
He's here for good now. He's here for good.
Okay. Those connected in the press box, I'd assume, have electronic access where they can obtain scores from other games. Why no scoring updates on the scoreboard? I kept checking via internet, but is sometimes iffy in the stadium. That comes from Bearcats 1972.
I believe that is a software issue between the press box and the scoreboard itself. They've had problems with that for years. I am not smart enough to know how to fix it. I know it is something that they've wanted to try to incorporate more diligently. I also think it is probably something, if you want to do it right, you have to have somebody there full time just updating the scores. That might be an expense for the Big 12.
All right, fair
I'm
enough.
just saying. That's what I know to date.
Next question comes from UC Merck 17. If there is one student athlete you could take from a different American Conference team, who would it be and why? Royer, I'll cater this one specifically to you.
Yeah.
Anybody that you played against that you would have rather had on your team than playing against?
Ooh. I'm trying to think of who.
The returner from Houston.
I mean, Gabe Davis. He was
Davis.
Nuts. He was really
Antonio
good.
Gibson.
What about homeboy from
the O'Keefe
Memphis?
kid from Central Florida.
Yeah. I mean, I might have to say Gabe Davis because that was back when we were like struggling a little bit receiver wise, and he would have been like he could have came in and really helped our
Huge
receiver
upgrade.
room.
That's who Sauce said was his hardest cover during his time.
Oh yeah,
he was.
I mean, yeah, that's the first guy that jumps into my head.
I thought he said, "What's his name from Memphis?" Was
he mentioned him, but then he said, "Well, no." The reporter who asked the question mentioned him because he was in the same draft class. Yeah. And then Sauce said, "But I also, guarded Gabriel Davis my true freshman year." I think, Antonio Gibson for Memphis that one season at their place, sadly, he kind of had a couple big runs. And then
heartbreak.
Yeah, heartbreak. This year, though, I'd take that Derek Parrish kid out of Houston. He had 4 sacks against Texas Tech this past weekend. So
still wasn't enough.
You can never get enough pass rush. I'll tell you that much.
Nope.
And then
I agree.
Yeah, because people are saying Nathaniel Dell, Lamb Big is.
Yeah.
I think we've got enough good weapons on the outside. Sure, Dell would be awesome to add, but
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like how often does he get on the field?
Right. It's like, okay, you're part of the rotation. I think obviously if something you alluded to earlier, Chad, I think then that Parrish guy could come in and fill in a little bit, get some good pass rush. So that'd be awesome.
I'd go with the pass rusher, sure.
After seeing Prater and Ben play versus Kennesaw specifically, do you think Gino and Fick have allowed themselves to even lightly entertain the notion of a Prater package for a complete change of pace, especially if we're struggling to get things going offensively? Bryant in 37 minutes had 35 points, saw a fair amount of 7 and 8 man drops into coverage. Prater in 23 minutes had 28 points. Kennesaw had no clue how to defend and he caused a lot of confusion.
Weren't 14 of those Prater points defensive touchdowns?
I'm just reading the question.
I'm just saying. I'm not like.
I know.
I think it was 7. The Jabari one was when Ben was in the game.
Ben was in the game.
The Hicks one was when Evan was in the game, and
then that was when Evan was getting ready to check in.
And then, who was at quarterback for the Montgomery touchdown?
That was none other than Brady Lichtenberg.
Lichtenberg.
Yeah, there has to be like the notion of a Prater package.
Ryan, was that your limited fake boomer?
What is it?
Was that your limited fake boomer?
Oh, are
Chris
you talking
Berman.
about Chris
Chris
Berman?
Berman? Yeah.
If it sounded like it, I guess, but it was not my intention. No.
Okay.
Isn't that his Twitter handle? Lichty? Something
It
Lichty?
might be.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, that's a
Hey.
look.
Royer knows Brady can play.
Oh yeah, Brady can throw
Like,
that thing.
He's
He
sneaky
can
fast.
spin it.
Yeah, he is sneaky athletic. That's a great point too. He
Yeah,
can move.
his handle is Brady Lichty.
Love it.
If we play Kennesaw State first game and Arkansas in the second game, are we 2-0?
I will say no, just because man, Arkansas was pretty damn good against South Carolina this weekend.
I
Like,
thought you were going to say because of injuries.
I mean, both teams have had injuries. Like, Cincinnati lost Jake Renfro. That's a pretty important injury.
And how many guys left the Arkansas game against Cincinnati? My goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't comfortably say no because it looks like both teams got better from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
And
I
Arkansas
agree.
had their way. Like, South Carolina made that a little bit of a game at the end. But from the start, that was pretty much an ass-kicking Arkansas over South Carolina.
Well, the one thing I would say, though, is that if Cincinnati was playing against Kennesaw State, you can be extremely vanilla in that game. When it's
Okay.
if Arkansas is playing
Arkansas.
South Carolina, but no, if they're playing South Carolina, if you're flip-flopping the first 2 games, you're going to see Arkansas's hand against South Carolina. So
Maybe. That's fair.
I think we would have played better than we did play against
Sure.
Arkansas. I think you could also say, maybe like that triple option could maybe get us a little bit more prepared for that RPO in terms of like
physical
getting a
tackle.
good read on the quarterback
Yeah.
if he has the ball, if not, making sure we're in good position. But still, it's a whole different type of defense we're running. I do think it could give us an opportunity to be more crisp on both sides of the ball. But we can't.
I don't want to take anything away from Arkansas.
Yeah, no, they're a
Because-
really good team. They made plays when they needed to make plays to beat us. But
I just don't want to be that podcast that people make fun of for like,
yeah,
oh yeah, Cincinnati would have kicked
Just-
Arkansas's ass if they'd have played them, week 2. Like, no, that's a damn good team. Maybe the mistakes would have cleaned themselves up. Maybe Cincinnati would have been a little more crisp. But maybe Arkansas also would have been a little more crisp. I'd love to play them again.
Yeah, bowl game. I was about to say I'd love to play those guys again in a bowl game. We can.
Sam
take care of
Pittman
business.
disagreed. He said he was done playing Cincinnati.
Yeah. I don't
He
want those
knows
games
because he
anymore.
knows.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think people think, and you can attest to this because you've seen it. I think people think, like, when you talk about playing a group of 5 team, the connotation is it's not going to be physical. When a team gets done playing you guys, and you've seen it and experienced it, they're not real happy physically with how they feel when that game is over, even if they win. I think that Arkansas team walked out of that game going, I'm good. Like, we scheduling them again? Nah, I'm good. Let's not do that. Because
I bet
Cincinnati
you Georgia,
is physical. Georgia, same way.
Would say the same thing, 100%. I bet, and that was the team that won the national championship too.
Yep.
I think Alabama would probably say the same thing. Once you guys got your footing,
yeah, no, I think I know they have respect for us and how hard and tough and physical we play, and I think we've kind of established ourselves as like that outlier, that kind of consistent, tough, physical team. They're like, I know you just knowing ball and knowing how like coaches are and teams prepare, like it's probably, this is going to be a physical team. They're going to play like hard-nosed, tough defense. They're going to come hit you. Like, I know that was in every single scouting report intro, you could say.
Yeah, and in every post game against Georgia, Bama, and Arkansas, every single coach said that the Cincinnati team would do really well in the SEC. So it's and a lot of people can say that's coach speak, but when you just get done playing a physical game like that,
Nah, man, they meant that shit.
Yeah, you're coming out there and you're speaking from the heart when you say that. So there's no doubt in my mind on that.
All right, that's the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to basketball. So what's the scoop with Muller's sophomore forward Kingston Land? Am I wrong for assuming he's related to Eugene? How's he look? Saw that Xavier just offered him. Are we interested / involved?
Ryan?
It is Eugene Land's son. Eugene Land played for the Bearcats during the Huggins era. He looks good. He's long, 6'7", 6'8". He's got a lot of potential. He's still young. Is Cincinnati interested and involved? Yes. Do you have to when you're dealing – I think there's a special set of circumstances when you're dealing with the legacy. You got to make sure it's the right fit. You got to make sure the kid is, the type of player you want to be an impact guy. And I think Eugene is close to that, but he's playing 15 and under AAU basketball right now. There's still a lot that he has to prove, a lot that he has to show. And as we've talked about in recent weeks, Wes Miller's recruiting top 50 kids by and large, and top 75 kids almost exclusively. We will see how how Kingston develops. I'm pretty high on him. I think he's got a really high skill set, a really high potential level, but a lot more of that will come into to focus as he goes through his sophomore season or his junior season, or his sophomore season. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a sophomore. And then into next AAU season really should determine how involved Cincinnati will be. But yeah, they built that relationship early. They are interested and involved. Just a matter of time. It's still very early.
All right. Chad, are you allowed to share any recruiting stories with players you see gotten in the fold or missed out on?
I thought about this. Most recruiting stories aren't all that interesting. It's, somebody mentioned Trey Burke. Cincinnati was a lock for Trey Burke. And then Michigan had a point guard declare for the draft. That opened up a starting point guard spot at Michigan. And Trey Burke was from Columbus. And really all Trey Burke wanted to do was stick it up Ohio State's ass that Ohio State wasn't interested in him. So he went from being a lock to Cincinnati and days away from announcing his commitment to Cincinnati to going to Michigan. And guess what? Lighting up Ohio State on his way to becoming, first team All-American. I don't think that's that interesting. That's like Kimball Walker, same thing. Brandon Jennings.
Hashim Thabit.
Well, the Hashim Thabit thing, they showed him around. So this was when Mick first got the job. And they brought him to campus for a visit. And they didn't have a team, remember?
Yeah.
They had Ron Allen and Cedric McGowan were the only guys on the team. So Hashim Thabit comes in for an official visit. And the visit goes great. And he loves the staff. He loves the program. He loves everything Cincinnati's about. And then he's like, when do I get to meet my teammates? And they're like,
well, why don't you come on over here and meet Cedric McGowan?
Six weeks or so? I don't know, 6 weeks, a month. You can meet him then. I don't know that I've ever told this story before. So when I saw this question, I was like, I got to come up with a good, interesting story for this question.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, right around when Mick got the job, and this would have been the spring, summer, right around when Mick got the job. I'm kind of debating whether I throw names in this and just throw gas on the fire.
Do it.
Okay. Royer says do it. I'm going to do it. So they're like AAU events used to be at high schools, right? Like now, like there are all these mega complexes built around the country with like 8, 10, 12 courts. The AAU event is held at that facility. That's where the everything happens. Back in the day, it used to be like, okay, we're in this city, but the event is at like 7 or 8 high schools around the center of the city. So guess what? Outside of the basketball gyms are high schools with hallways and classrooms, and you can kind of get lost in the catacombs of a high school, which means a lot of unscrupulous things could happen if the right person brought the player to the back hallways of a high school.
Lord knows I did some unscrupulous things in the hallways of my high school.
Right. So all of a sudden, a national scout might be like, hey, come take a walk with me. And then at the end of that walk, there's a college coaching staff. So there was a kid that was committed to UC. Maybe a 4-star. He jumped really high. Might have been part of what was called the Goon Squad. A big dunking, the dunk contest type guy. Last name might have rhymed with Silks.
Dallas Fort Worth. Worth. Yeah.
No, you're wrong. Darnell
DW is what I was saying.
Atlanta kid.
DW. So
Yeah. You're so weird. And there was a national scout that has been in our circle for a long time and will be a national scout writer wherever Shannon Terry is, because Shannon Terry played for his legendary D3 coach of a dad in college. You can piece that together pretty easily. So he took this said recruit and his mom back into the catacombs of this high school to meet up with the college coaching staff. And it just so happened that one of Mick's assistants was walking through the hall at that point in time. And it didn't happen.
Fisticuffs.
There was almost fisticuffs. There's almost a fight about that, the kid, Darnell was already committed to Cincinnati at this point. Like he was, supposed to be in basketball. Football recruiting, there's no holds barred. Until you sign, or basically until you're on campus, anything goes. In basketball, when you commit, everybody's supposed to back off. That's like the gentleman's agreement between basketball coaches. So that was a definite breach of the gentleman's agreement. And I would have paid money to see that assistant basketball coach who kind of looks like Popeye.
I was really about to ask, was it the guy that
was about to throw down with the national scout? It would have been appointment television.
All right.
So yeah, that's my best basketball story I can share tonight that I thought of.
Rory, I won't ask you any specific examples, but how many times did you host a recruit?
I might not have hosted one in writing, but I have hosted several at my house, and we would have fun.
I will leave it at that. I will not ask any more questions, but I was just curious.
You see this fan up here?
Yeah. Nathaniel wants to know how many ceiling tiles have you put your head through.
This is one of my good friends. Natty, you know the answer to that one, buddy.
All of them. All of the ceiling tiles.
You name it, I've done it.
There we go.
All right. The last recruiting battle with the top recruit UC had with USC was OJ Mayo. Well, kind of. If Wes Miller was in his second season at UC in 2007, with all the experience and staff he has now, would OJ have gone out west?
No. Yes. That was a straight, here is a giant sum of money to come play for us.
Here's a bag. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
Like
Back
maybe in
when
the NIL
bags were
era,
frowned upon.
but like people took the OJ Mayo's never from Cincinnati. He's from Huntington, West Virginia.
Just
Like
played
I
at
think
North
because
College
he played at North College Hill. Everybody
Right.
thinks OJ Mayo and Bill Walker were Cincinnati kids. They were Huntington, West Virginia kids that just came up here because I mean, they got a pretty good deal to come play for North College Hill. Like he didn't have any ties to the city other than he was here for what, a year? Like that Royer knows you don't get to be a Cincinnatian by being here for a year, right? Like it ain't that easy.
You got to put your
Blood, sweat, and
time in.
tears, right?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think he would have come here if Wes was in his second season at UC in 2007.
Do you remember Keenan Ellis, Chad?
Yeah, the kid that was supposed to be great, that was dog shit.
The big man
Yeah,
on that
that played on that team.
So he started at Cathedral, right?
He sucked.
Dude, so he called himself Slim. You know, when I first met him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm Slim." And I was like, "No, you're not. You're Keenan Ellis." But he ended up actually just
that's Royer's version of Ahmad and Sauce. No,
right.
No, you're Ahmad.
Exactly. No, so
Ahmad
he
is locked down in the NFL. And I don't even know who this Slim guy is.
This guy's interesting. But no, he got in one little fight.
His mom got scared.
And he moved with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
Right. So no, at Cathedral in practice, he left practice and literally left the city that same day and was in North College Hill 2 days later. It was a crazy story.
Yeah. North College Hill, Bel Air, those are different places.
They are not the same.
One of these things is not like the other.
All right. What will be UC's most difficult mid-major or low-major non-conference game this year, not including Xavier? Yes, X is still a mid-major. No football, no Final Fours.
I don't know, man. I haven't gotten that far on the basketball schedule yet. Like
This is football season.
I don't like. There's only one of me. I'm not a robot. Like I'm not in my free time. Like I get like this much free time. I'm not like, oh, let's look at which of the mid majors on the basketball schedule are the toughest. I'm sorry. Like, can we go back to that question? Like late October, early November.
Well, I think easy
put
answer
a
would
pin
be
in
the
that
only
one.
road game.
Bring it back out in about a month and a half.
Yeah,
Bearcat law.
Let's go back to it.
We're not saying no, just not now.
Yeah.
Royer, this one's specifically for you. What is the best UC basketball game memory you have?
I went to the first game in Fifth Third. That was really cool, but we lost. So that to the Suckeyes.
Ohio
so
State. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
That was not a fun game to watch.
Oh,
I know.
Or attend.
Very bad offense. Very bad offense that game. Trying to think. What was it Temple? We came back and scored with 2 seconds left on that layup.
Yeah, it was senior day. That same year.
I think
Trey Scott with the bucket at the buzzer.
Yeah.
A week before the world stood still is what we call it.
Or the next year. That wasn't the same year. It was the next year.
What
for that game?
No, that was right before COVID shut down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally it was right before the world shut down.
And imagine
days.
if that tip-in didn't go in.
Weren't there
spend that entire quarantine just sitting there
Weren't there games that weekend being canceled even? I think
nothing really happened until we got to conference tournament.
I just
remember the
around
NBA
the country
game happened. No,
NBA.
Not really. The NBA, the Rudy Gobert, was that who it was?
Yeah.
Touching all the mics.
That happened right before all the conference tournaments started. And then that set off the chaos that happened across the country.
Even though it was later determined that no one touching mics would actually be able to give COVID out. But
yeah, I mean,
Neither here nor there.
That's
The last portion of the mailbag comes from
All right.
Skins, of course.
This is always the fun part.
Welcome to the mailbag, Mr. Royer. My main goal is to torment Aaron before killing him in unique ways. Also, I like to ask about. That's the thing that happens. Also, I like to ask about food and TV shows that Chad has never watched. So, rapid fire: shrimp fried rice or chicken fried rice? I'm going chicken fried rice.
Chicken.
I'll go rice with shrimp. There we go.
Of course you would. Sake or uzo? I say sake.
Sake.
I had some crazy sake bomb.
Man, there's nothing better than a good sake buzz.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fun.
It's such a weird buzz.
It's so fun. Like, you're just like, wee.
Oh, it's a great pregame than going to the bar afterwards. It's a
sausage
a
links
long night.
Sausage links or patties? I'm gonna go off topic and say chorizo.
I'd go with patties. I like them. It makes better for a good little bacon, sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich.
So sandwiches are always patties, but if I've got like some pancakes, give me links.
Give me a link with that puppy for sure.
Yeah, because links with syrup are amazing.
Sounds a little weird, Brent. I don't know.
He's a little weird.
That's Brent for you.
Give
Finally,
me a
now
link with
Zach!
that puppy.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Zach.
Great show as always. Just want to say my UC fan ego needs the Bearcats to kill Indiana in 2 weeks. I still feel bruised from the Arkansas tilt.
Zach, let's hope Indiana beats Western Kentucky. Comes in unranked, maybe undefeated. I meant.
Lamb said throw some links in between the buns.
Okay.
Royer, this team will not forget that first half at Indiana, right? Like, yeah, you guys won that game comfortably, but like, they'll remember that first half.
Yeah, we were getting handed it to us a little bit, and we were also making some of the most unbelievably bonehead decisions as well.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the most insane decisions ever is picking up that ball and palming it and running. Oh, that was I just remember like on the sideline, like I've never seen so many coaches like
Aaron makes better decisions than that.
Yeah, that's
just
arguable.
I've never seen like a collective coaching staff just all be like, what in the just like how the hell is this happening? No, but yeah, they like a lot of things went our way. Like that game, like for us to come out of there with a win, like
you probably should have lost with the way you guys played.
Oh yeah, we should have lost. Should have.
Still one last question here in the mailbag, finishing up Skins post. Finally, now that Ryan Royer is bringing in all the sweet social media money for the BCJ network and Chad decides to remake the classic film Old School, who is playing what role and why is Aaron playing Blue? I'm not Blue.
Blue's the guy that died, right?
Super old.
You're my boy, Blue.
You're my boy, Blue.
I think this week I'm Blue, without question.
I like to think I'm what's Sean Michael Scott? Is that his name?
Stifler.
You got a fucking dart in your neck.
Dart in your neck, man. I love you, but you're
yes,
crazy, man. You're crazy, man. Yeah.
Royer, who are you in Old School?
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. What movie aren't you Vince Vaughn in? Is like Swingers.
I'm not Vince. I'd be Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers. I wouldn't be Vince Vaughn in Average Joe because I would never give up on my team like that. The way he went to
that's fair.
There we go. That's a good point.
You're the Vince Vaughn of this podcast.
I think
like,
Dave's Will Ferrell, right?
Yeah.
I'll take Frank the Tank.
That movie's so funny.
I can see Brent as Frank the Tank too. Like that's not. It's not off kill. How many years did you spend in college?
5.
I think Dave was like 6.5.
Well, then he's Van Wilder.
He's smart.
Yeah, Dave is Van Wilder for sure.
Aaron, I thought you were kind of Luke Wilson a little bit, Mitch.
I'm totally fine being Luke Wilson.
Kind of like the level-headed guy that tries to like calm everyone down. Like
Handsome
"Hey,
as fuck."
guys, we gotta get this figured out. Hey, Will's got some days.
You're
where
gonna
he's
have to break your nose 3 or 4 times to be a Wilson brother.
Wrong, Wilson. No, Luke's. Luke's nose isn't broken like that.
It's not great.
It's on the larger side of noses.
I've got a good nose. I don't need to break this nose.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna be a Wilson brother, we're gonna have to fuck up your nose a little bit.
No, I'm good. I'm good, man. That's the mailbag.
All right, there you go, Royer. That's your first mailbag experience.
Wow. It's a great time. Glad I-
It's just a lot of stupidity.
It's been an honor. I think my favorite part was the last part for sure.
That's why we do the last
The
part.
banks, yeah.
It's a potpourri of God knows what in that last portion of the mailbag.
It's normally just skins, just throwing out oddball things that I think everyone's
Usually I'm
relies
like,
on
I've
skins
never
to
seen
do
that movie or that TV show, man. I don't know.
You actually knew
I've
that
seen
one.
Old School. Yeah, I've seen
Dude, Old School was like, gosh, I remember when that came out. I was in like 7th grade, and we watched it. Parents probably didn't like us watching it, but man, it was hilarious. I love it.
They don't make movies like that anymore.
They don't.
Comedy's hard, man.
I think
everybody
everyone's
gets
afraid.
canceled.
Yeah, everyone's afraid. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
so like the crazy. We went to see Whitney Cummings on Thursday. You know Whitney Cummings?
Oh yeah,
Royer?
yeah.
Really funny. I swear there were 5 times in her show where she's like looking at the crowd, like, "Are you guys going to record this and cancel me, you stupid motherfuckers?"
I went and saw Tom Segura and Tim
I
Dillon.
love Tom Segura.
Tom Segura was so funny. He had
Top
his
5 for
bit.
me is Tom Segura right now.
I love Dave Chappelle's my number 1. I think Segura's my number 2. But
I'm a Burt
I mean
Kreischer
Segura. Oh yeah, The Machine. Have you seen The Machine? You had to have seen The Machine. Yeah.
So you know that guy. This is my one fun fact. You know, he's actually Van Wilder. Van Wilder was written about him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that is the life story of
What is
Burt Kreischer.
I hope they serve beer in hell, guy. Is that what it was?
No, Van Wilder.
Right, but
With
I thought there was like
Tara
a book that.
I Hope You Serve Beer in Hell that had its own movie.
Oh, is that separate thing?
Yeah, that's Max.
No,
something.
So I guess they're like
Tucker Max.
They when Florida, like Burt Kreischer was in his like 7th year at Florida State, and Rolling Stone named Florida State the party school of the year. So this guy from Rolling Stone goes to Florida State to write the article about like who was the biggest partier at the party school of the year, and it was Burt Kreischer. And after the story was written, it was Oliver Stone or Spielberg, one of the two. They bought the rights to the story and kind of owned the rights to Burt Kreischer's story, and they wrote Van Wilder off of him.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
there's a bunch if you go through the Bearcast, there's quite a few times he talks about it.
Okay.
He actually had a deal with Will Smith to do a sitcom about his life, and the Oliver Stone thing kind of screwed it up, and they couldn't get the full rights to tell the story of his life.
Of his own life?
Yeah. So it ended up going to production as Van Wilder, and Ryan Reynolds became famous from playing Burt Kreischer.
Wow. They look just alike too now.
Yeah. How could you not
uncanny?
Yeah.
Chad, any recruiting updates here, or are we going to save that for?
We grinded, baby. They're grinding.
All right.
Yeah, I was
Shout out Pat and Max, Michael Kopay now, the man.
Kopay, yeah. This is more basketball right now because 23 is almost done for football.
Sorry.
They were done. They were done 3 weeks before camp started.
They never stopped though.
No. There's always stuff happening, but right now is basketball coaches were just allowed to go out on the road Friday. And Cincinnati's in on the number 1 recruit in the class, another 5-star potentially, a couple more high 4-star, top 50, top 75 kids. and then in on what I think is the number one recruit in the 24 class, and a bunch of dudes in that class that are like ridiculous. So I'm not ready to. I put a post up the other day on the basketball message board that kind of details where I think things are at. Let's let things play out a little bit before we really address it in a free space.
Yeah, I think the only thing that kind of got a little traction recently that is a little bit more publicly known is the whole Indiana backing off on Arlington Page a little bit.
No, Indiana's not backing off on Arlington.
Not. Oh, they aren't.
They're falling back to the path. They're falling behind
like
on Arlington Page.
Right.
It has nothing to do with backing off.
Okay. Well,
They still very much want Arlington Page.
Not in the want factor, but maybe the resources factor, if you know what I mean.
Maybe the recruiting and well factor.
Yeah, right.
I know you're an IU guy. You're getting like Rabbi's. your info from Rabbi.
I'm getting the Rabbies over here, if you know what I mean. Well, no, my buddy just literally spews everything about what comes off that.
I just don't think they've done the best job recruiting it.
Right. This makes sense.
All right.
Arlington Page, Ryan's a top 50 forward center. He's from Georgia, and one of his best friends and teammates is the number one player in the country. So if Cincinnati can land Arlington Page, then they're in a pretty good spot with Isaiah Collier, who is his team.
Get a little leverage.
Right?
All right. Come on, Wes.
Let's go. I talked to Wes on Saturday. He wouldn't give me a lot of info, but he gave me a lot of smiles when I tried to ask him questions and he refused to answer. Take that for what it's worth.
Okay. A lot of stay tuned. A lot of be alert.
On that note, that's an easy segue for you to get us out of here, Brent.
Stay tuned into the BBP as it will be alive and available for you to watch again if you want to see Ryan Royer join us for 2 hours plus and dive into the BBP mailbag like a doggone pro. Good job.
Feels good to be a part of the mailbag, man. What an honor.
Hey, you went this week. You pulled off what we talked about. You went from guest
Full blown
member of the team.
Full blown.
All right.
Full blown member of the team. You're in.
That's why you're number 3, man.
Family now.
That's why we'll be at Murphy's in a couple weeks. There we go. We're just slowly evolving.
Just don't eat a hot dog, man, Brent.
Don't eat a hot dog?
They've been
Ryan,
kind of
do me a
caught.
favor.
What?
Drink his ass under the table.
Good luck.
Oh, I will.
Good luck.
Well, hey, me and you will get on their whiskey board just in one night, all right?
Deal. Lock it in.
All right.
Whiskey gets me a little crazy. I had to switch to vodka, but hey, if we want to do a whiskey night, we can do a whiskey night. We'll do it.
Well, it's a whiskey drink and it's a vodka drink. And it's
I'm
a
out.
Drink.
I'm a dad now.
No, Aaron, you'll be there.
Brett gets out of here.
But big shout out, big thank you as always to Danco Joe and Danco Transmissions. Great seeing you on Saturday, Joe. We'll see you more throughout the year. And then, of course, big shout out, big thank you to Ryan Royer for joining us as he will every Monday throughout the football season. And aside from that, as always, from my good pals, good partners, PICs, Aaron Smith and Chad Brendel, I am Brent Young. Yet again, another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!